The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tukwila, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32593. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Here's a general view of your apparatus. We'll go through each individual item and identify those, including safety and warning labels. Let's start on the left side of this image, which would be the passenger side front bumper. On an angle, you'll find two side-facing siren PA speakers. Located on the passenger side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Just inward of that location is where you'll find your two tow hook attachment points. And then over the driver's area, you'll find dual air horns. Moving up onto the outer edge of the body, you'll find your marker light and turn indicator. Just inside of that location is the headlight cluster housing the low and high beam. The high beam is the one closest to the center. Moving up from that location, you'll also find directly in the center LED warning lights. Moving to the outer edge, just above the headlight cluster, you'll find forward-facing running lights. Just underneath the Pierce logo is where you'll find the release mechanism for your hood latch. And then moving up onto the windshield, seamless windshield, 3 windshield wipers. As we move to the outer edges of the mirror, you'll find 2 locations of flat surface and also a convex. Moving up from that location to the brow of the vehicles, where you'll find 5 running lights. Moving just inward to the center location, you'll have a forward-facing floodlight. Moving up to the top of the apparatus is where you'll find your light bar. Located in the center of the light bar is your opticom. And then all the way to the very top of the light bar, just over the top of it, is where you'll find your go light, which is your spotlight. Let's go ahead and cover some of the images that we just talked about. First, behind the Pierce logo is where you'll find the latch for your hood release. As we look to the headlight structure, in the turn indicator, you also find a marker light. As we move to the grille, in the upper portion of the grille, you'll find those forward-facing LED lights. As we move around to the side of the vehicle, just in front of the driver's side door hinge is where you'll find the side-facing camera. Moving up onto the top at the rear section is where you'll find your LED light regarding your tank level. On the back wall, you'll find also a pole-style light that is adjustable. Let's move now to the pump area. We'll start in the upper left-hand corner. This is an outlet for your inverter. It is a 20 amp outlet. To the right, you'll find a warning label here regarding foam failure and the associated hazards if you mix different percentages, brands, or consistencies. Just beneath that, you'll find the foam function. This is the inlet, outlet, and also strainer. To the right, you have a warning label here regarding pressurized hazards, associated hazards while removing a pressurized cap. Because your vehicle is equipped with electronic intake, this is the override in the upper right. And then further to the right, you'll find the air supply. This is a twist, not a pull. And then just beneath that, you'll find the air inlet or outlet. Let's move down to the next warning label here regarding fall warning. Do not ride on the side of your apparatus. Moving to the right side of the image, we'll find two 2.5-inch discharges. Because these are electronic valves or controlled by electronics, there are 2 overrides located right next to them that are color-coded. As we move to the center, this is your large diameter pump inlet. And then as we move further to the right, we're going to find your warm water. This is your rinse outlet. And then let's move all the way down to the left bottom section here. And this is going to be all your associated drains. Those are color-coded and also labeled. You do have a manifold drain. Once again, that's a twist, not a pull. And then further to the right, this will be your clean water or rinse water inlet. Further to the right is the outlet. Let's take a couple looks at some of the images here. First, starting at the top, there's your inverter and also your foam functions here for foam inlet and strainer. As we look to the left, these are the 2.5 inches with the discharge overrides for those electronic valves. And then to the right, you'll find your air supply. Let's move down to the very bottom. These are the 3 drains, number 1 and number 3, and also your pump drain. And then as we move to the right-hand side, you'll find the warm water rinse outlet and then also the inlets for those.
Let's move now to the crosslay section. This is the number 1 and number 2 crosslay. They are both foam capable. Just beneath that, you'll find a warning label here regarding entanglement, and be cautious while removing those hoses from that upper location. Directly in the center, you'll find a release mechanism to allow to release the hose load, the entire bundled area of that speed load. Also to the left, you'll find additional storage, I assume, for backboards. Let's move up from that location. You have an additional set of outlets. This is a 2.5-inch crosslay, once again water and foam capable, and then the number 3 crosslay, also water and foam capable. Same mechanism for the release to release the speed loads, and then in the upper right hand corner you have additional storage, potentially backboard storage in this area. To the left hand side you'll find the AM door grab handle for pulling down that rolling door. Let's go ahead and move further to the back. Let's talk to the pump position here. At the very top is where we're going to start, starting with the if your pump is properly engaged, this light should be illuminating. Let's start further to the left where you'll find a location to store or to hold your intercom headset. As we move down to the foam system instructions placard on the left, and then further to the right you'll find your Husky 12 foam system specifications. In the red, you'll find this module, which is going to be your foam level from refill, quarter, half, 3/4 to full. And let's go ahead and move to the right into the gray area. This is your master intake. And then further right down at the very, to the right side, you'll find your master discharge. In between those two gauges is where you're going to find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure, which are currently plugged. Let's move to the upper right hand corner. This is indications here for your PCM fault. It's an indicator that will illuminate. It'll also get an audible warning. The outer bezel does have the ability to dampen down the sound. Across the center you're going to find all your associated discharges, color coded and also labeled. Let's move now to the pressure throttle governor. In the upper left hand corner is the check engine. That would be an amber light if indicated. Located directly in the center is your RPM digital readout. Further to the right, you'll find, if illuminated, a red stop engine LED light. Across the next section is where you're going to find all your associated engine diagnostic information. The blue module is going to be your water level. The red button will be your silence for the audible alarm. Just beneath that in orange is where you'll find your menu, which you can scroll through the various menus. In the lower left-hand corner is your pressure control. This will indicate that you're in the pressure control mode. Located in the center, you'll find the digital readout regarding that menu. And then to the right, you can choose RPM or throttle control, and that's also selected through the control module, which is the blue button down in the lower left. You also have a throttle ready, which is a green indicator if illuminating. And then to the right, if you choose, you can pre-designate presets. That's the green button on your right. Down in the lower section, you'll find the throttle control, increase or decrease, with a button to push for idle. Let's go ahead and look now to the left-hand side where you'll find this placard. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. Also beneath that, you'll find a warning label that only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. Beneath that, you'll find your TFT control module. And as you can see, there are 6 electronic valves for controlling here. These are all individually marked and color-coded. To the right, you'll find your driver's side rear discharge. And then just as we move down, you're going to find left-hand side. This is your prime. You have an auto prime off or prime, and there's also priming instructions at least 1,000 RPMs while priming. As we move further to the left of the image that we just saw, you'll find your tank refill recirculating line. You do have indications here for your driver's main and passenger main inlet open. Those are indicators that will indicate open or closed. On the left, you'll find your water pump on and off. And then beneath that, you'll find an indicator here regarding your low water level indicator, and that is a red light that will come on. In the upper section, you'll find the 120 and 12 volt heaters. Moving to the right, you'll find all your associated drains across that top section. We'll move all the way to the right where this pan door is located. We'll talk a little bit about the contents in the next set of images. Across the very bottom, you'll find all of your drains and bleeders. They're color-coded and also individually labeled. Here's a close-up once again of the warm water pump on and off, also a low water level and all of your heaters. Close-up here of the drains and also flush. And then as we move to the very bottom, just a close-up of all of the images, all of the drains, and they're color-coded. Inside that pan door is where you're going to find the instructions on the left-hand side for the yellow handle inside. And then just beneath that, you're going to find the manual pump shift override. It is a protected switch with an indicator that you've engaged. On the left-hand side of the interior compartment is where you're going to find the sine wave inverter. That is your power device. And also just beneath that, you'll find all your associated compartment switches. Further down, you'll find your red module, which happens to be your foam Husky 12 system. The red indication is the power button, which you'll get a green light once it's engaged. As we move just in front of the rear wheel, you'll find bottle storage location with storage straps for retaining those bottles. And to the rear, you'll find your DEF and also diesel fuel. The silver cap is going to be your diesel fuel, ultra low sulfur diesel. The blue cap is going to be a 4.5 US gallon diesel exhaust fluid only. To the right inside the compartment is this D handle, which will allow you to gain access to the tool board. Once it's in the open position, you'll find on the hinge side there is a locking mechanism to restore it back to its original position. The arrow is indicating the lock. Here's some close-ups as we move through the rest of the compartments. You'll find LED lighting and also adjustable shelving. In this compartment, there happens to be a shoreline outlet. This is a 15 amp. It is the blue plug. And then you'll also find your ventilation system here. These are the ports for allowing air circulation. As we look underneath the rear compartment is where you'll find the folding wheel chocks storage location. And here's a quick shot of the rear section of your apparatus. We'll identify some of those items first, starting on the left with the marker light down in the lower left-hand corner. As we move through, you'll also find some of these items on the right side or passenger side. You do have your brake, turn, reverse, and emergency light. You'll also find you have a shore power disconnect. This is an auto eject plug. When plugged into shore power, your battery charging system will activate. Moving up from that location, you're going to find 4 fold down steps. And then moving further up from that location, you'll find right and left side emergency warning lights. Moving all the way to the top of the apparatus is where you're going to find your scene lights. These are LED scene lights. There is also a switch to turn those on just near the battery maintainer. We have some warning labels here regarding not riding on the side of the apparatus for fall. We also have a pressurized cap warning label and also an entanglement hazard warning label. As we move just to the very bottom section above the number 51 is where you'll find a D handle will allow you to drop down that tailboard section. And then just above the roll-up door is where you'll find your reverse camera. At the very top of the apparatus is where you'll find your traffic advisor. Moving down to the right side of the image is where you're going to find this gray module. This is your powered equipment rack. This is what controls the equipment rack for your ladders. Moving up from that location is the large diameter discharge. And then up you'll find a pan door which has the ability inside for your manual hydraulic rack. There are grab handles located variously throughout this for climbing to the top or going aloft. Here's just a side image of the vehicle, and we'll move now to the functions that we talked about earlier. This is your shoreline inlet. It is a 30 amp auto eject plug. Just up from that you'll find the battery voltage. This is when plugged into shore power will activate to charge your battery. To the right of that also is your rear scene light on-off switch. As we move up to your cross dividers, you'll also find in the very rear of your tailboard saver, there is access here for a fully extended compartment shelf. And then this is your powered equipment rack. There's an on-off switch here at the master and then a lift up or down. There's instructions on here and also a danger regarding that moving equipment rack. You do have a large diameter rear discharge located in the rear. This is that hand operation of the hydraulic rack with instructions on the side of the door. There is also the location here. You can see the small round. This is where the tool would fit inside for the manual operation. To the right is the lever for raise or lower. As we move just to the top of the vehicle, you'll find long tool storage, for example, pike pole storage. Moving to the top of the vehicle, you'll find these yellow reflective diamonds there to ensure firefighter safety, so the firefighter knows the edge of the apparatus for walking space. You also have tubbed storage locations here with top access. Moving to the midsection, you're going to find in the dunnage, which is the same location for your booster line. There is also the water tank fill location. Moving to the very top here, we do have your master stream device, booster line, and also the tank for your clean water rinse location. Let's now move to the front section of the cab. You'll find these two warning labels here regarding a slippery surface, and be cautious, this is not a walking surface. As we move to the dunnage, you'll find the hydraulic oil fill location for your foam hydraulic reservoir system. Your vehicle is equipped with yellow diamonds, which are reflective around the perimeter of the hose bed. Also equipped with a 14-foot roof and a 24-foot extension ladder. As we move now to the rear passenger side compartment, LED lighting, adjustable shelving, and also your ventilation system. Moving forward of the wheel and behind the wheel, you'll find bottle storage locations for a total of 4 bottles, 2 in each front and 2 in the rear section. As we move to the center compartment roll-up door, you'll find just slightly different compartment configuration here. And as we move, you'll find your S1 breaker panel. You can see they're individually breakered beneath that. To the right, you'll find your inverter. And then just beneath the inverter is where you'll find the timer for your ventilation system. Once you gain access inside or behind the opening, you'll find adjustable timer locations for when you want your timer to run and when you want it to not be operational. As we move to the side of the pocket pump, you'll find in the upper left a warning label regarding fall hazard. You'll also find a water strainer for your pump. Moving up to the very top, you'll find the passenger side main inlet override, and then also a warning label here regarding pressurized hazards. Same as the opposite side, you'll find that outlet, which is your inverter power. It's a 20 amp plug. Let's move down from this location. We'll start with the 2.5 inch discharges on this side. Because of those being electrically controlled valves, you do have 2 override locations for those valves. As we move to the center, you'll find your large diameter pump intake. Moving just to the left, you'll find the 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. And then across the bottom, you're going to find all your associated drains color-coded and also labeled. Here's some close-ups of those images that we just talked about. Once again, the water strainer, which is a 2.5 inch. As we move to the upper right-hand corner, this is that inverter outlet. It is a 20 amp outlet. Your auxiliary passenger side inlet. All the way to the left, your water strainer drain. And then as we move to the right, at the very bottom, you'll find all your associated drains color-coded and also labeled. Let's move now to the midsection. These are the cross-through compartments. Once again, a warning label because of those hoses of entanglement. There's also the number 2 and number 1 crosslay. They are water and foam capable. And at the very center, as does the other side, there's a release mechanism for those speed lays to be removed. As we move just above that, you'll find the number 3 crosslay and then also your 2.5 inch crosslay. And again, the release mechanism to allow those speed lays to be removed. You do have backboard storage and also the grab handle. As we move to the cab, all points of entry will have this set of warning labels, in addition with an Engine 51 logo down in the lower section and also a door open light. Looking inside the cab, you have 2 forward-facing SCBA bottle seat locations, and just to the side you'll find additional light boxes. Moving to the overhead position, you'll find speakers, push on and off red and white lights, and also a large overhead light. The compartments in front do have LED lighting and also adjustable shelving. As we move to the rear, just between the 2 EMS compartments is where you'll find this D-handled drawer, and then just beneath that you'll find for your daily checks engine access for all of your dipsticks. Here's that drawer in the open position. This is going to be the daily checks for your transmission and also oil. Looking just forward from the rear section of the cab, moving to the forward position, Let's go ahead and take a look on the side here. This is the driver's side. You'll find access for an SCBA for your engineer, and also storage location for an LED box light. On the far right is the switch will activate the upper light for your entire cab. Also in those seats you're going to find 12-volt access. These happen to be USB style. As we move to the front of the cab, once again a point of entry, so we have some warning labels on the door. You'll also find additional warning labels here. This vehicle is equipped with an airbag supplemental restraint system. That's what the SRS indication is, located here in the center. Be cautious and not mount anything within this vicinity, and see your owner's manual for mounting instructions. You also have air horn, mechanical siren, and also siren brake push buttons on the left side of the officer seat, in addition with an LED box light. As we look to the center, you're going to find your computer system, which is your MDT access point, and then also just behind that access point is where you're going to find these set of switches for the front floodlights, driver scene and passenger scene, rear scene. You have perimeter lighting, and also driver's side and passenger side floodlights, and also an emergency master switch which will control the emergency master lights. You do have 12-volt access, not only barrel style but USB style, located in the same vicinity, and also the vehicle data recorder port. Let's look overhead. This is going to be on the officer side. This is the control module for your Go light over the cab. You also have a Motorola unit radio, which is located overhead. As we move to the left, you'll find siren control and PA speaker system. Moving further over, this is going to be your unit radio system, as in a stereo CD player and also weather band radio. Once again, points of entry, we're now on the driver's side. All of your warning labels are on the left-hand side. I would like to point at about the right ankle of the operator. We'll talk about that in just a moment for a yellow placard. At the very base of the seat, you're going to find an engine heater toggle switch, the green light indicating that it is in the on position. On the floorboard, you'll find a mechanical siren foot pedal, and back over to about the right ankle, you'll find this manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the city of Tukwila. It has the date of manufacture, the 5-digit job number, in addition with cold tire inflation, gross vehicle weight ratings, the VIN number, and then all of your fluid capacities. As we move to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find a couple of modules. First, this is the tech module, including the engine, transmission, ABS, and diagnostic port. To the right, you'll find a display port, and then just beneath that, you're going to find switches for ABS diagnostic, engine diagnostic, engine inhibit, and DPF regen switches. Let's move now to the dash. On the left-hand side of the dash is where you'll find the ignition switch, start switch, and at the very top in red, emergency hazard lights. To the right, you'll find your emergency master. This small switch controls all of your emergency lights. And to the right, you'll find your headlight parking lights, and also a panel switch will control the brightness of your panel. On the left, you have your transmission oil, DEF, water temperature, the 2 gauges in the center, tachometer and speedometer. To the right, you'll find the volts, fuel, front and rear air, and then information for diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. On the right-hand knee of the operator is where you'll find your OK to engage the high idle. It is a switch and also a green indicator. You do have a pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release at the front section of the dash. And then you also have a Pierce command zone. Tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see your owner's manual. Just a general view here of the cab functions for the operator. We'll go over those individually, starting with the Allison transmission. This is a digital readout and also an information to pump in neutral. To the right, you'll find the front flood, driver's side scene lights, passenger side scene lights, rear scene lights. The next section down, we're going to find a backup alarm override, driver's side and passenger side floodlights, and then a future switch if necessary. Just beneath that, you're going to find an engine brake on and off, settings for low, medium, and high. You do have a red fuel primer switch. It's currently taped now not to operate. This is your tire change, which is a protected switch. Off-road traction, and also a mirror heat. Moving further to the right, you're going to find a stationary OK to pump and roll. That's an indicator. And then also your water pump and foam system switches, 2 future switch locations, and then your overhead lights at the very top of the cab. This is the switch that controls those. You also have a go light, which is a control module located just above those set of switches we mentioned, in addition with mirror controls for left and right mirror. All the way to the very front in the center is where you'll find your climate control. And let's go ahead and move overhead of the operator. This is on the left-hand side over the operator's head. Height 11 feet 3 inches, length 31 feet 9.56 inches, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 46,500 pounds. Also, your department job number 32592-01 is also located on this placard. Moving to the right, you're going to find Emergency Master, High Beam Flash, your Opticom, a red switch, which is your siren or brake select. You have a dome light, auto lube fault, momentary Opticom, and also perimeter lights. Also to the right, you're going to find your Traffic Advisor control module. As we move further to the right, you'll find the unit radio. And then located in the very center, you'll find this. If any of your doors or compartments are open, this light will flash indicating do not move your apparatus. Congratulations, Tukwila, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32593. If you have any questions as to the content of this video or any future questions regarding your apparatus, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Thank you and congratulations.